Entrenched Echoes by Oceanair 12. Chapter 9. Warm Darkness. Legend had no idea what just happened. Neither did anyone else, if the shocked and slightly horrified looks on everyone else had anything to say. The only one who didn't look remotely confused was Shadow. He was also the one who had stopped Legend and anyone else who tried to interfere with whatever the frick had been doing. Whatever it had been, it was some dark stuff, which probably explained why Shadow was so adamant that no one interfered. Shadow stood down shortly before Hyrule collapsed. Legend caught the kid before he hit the stone, but only barely. He put his hand close to Hyrule's mouth and under his nose. There was a faint puff of air leaving his mouth. Then nothing. He waited, but no inhale and no exhale. He pressed his fingers against Hyrule's neck, shifting his fingers every few seconds, trying to search for a heartbeat. There was nothing. Legend felt a panic begin to swirl up inside his heart. He's not breathing. I can't feel a heartbeat. Warrior surged forward, even with his bad leg. Warrior would slash it open with Warrior's own sword if Legend had seen right. Dropping to his knees beside Hyrule and began chest compressions. Potions, anyone! There was a moment of silence before everyone split for their bags. 3 red potions, 2 green potions, and several hardy elixirs were produced. Warriors ordered Legend to pour some of the potion over Hyrule's hand. Legend did so, but the only thing that happened was the potion cleaned off the blood, covering the fact that Hyrule had already healed his wound. Warriors cursed. Time, get over here. When I tell you, sit up Hyrule, and Legend and I are going to force him to swallow some potion. Time did as he was told. A few seconds later, a swallow of red potion had been forced down Hyrule's throat. He had immediately returned to the ground, and Warrior's chest compressions continued. Everyone kept their distance, a still silence falling over the group. At some point, Wind and Green had come over, and they were now part of the circle. After what felt like hours, Warriors ordered Time to sit Hyrule up again. This time, a swallow of green potion was forced down his throat. Warriors took the time to swallow a few gulps of red potion, most likely for energy to continue and for his leg. The compressions began again. A few more potions were passed around for the major injuries of the rest of the party, but no one said anything. Legend could see Sky and Wild mouthing silent prayers to Hylia. Part of him wanted to snap at them because Hylia wasn't going to help them. Another part of him was so tempted to throw away his pride and join them. He came to a kind of compromise with little half-prayers that were not respectful in the slightest. You can hear me, you little... Take him, and I swear, or I'll just pawns to you. After it felt like hours, but was probably only a few minutes, Warrior sat back. He was sweating and panting from exhaustion. His eyes came up to meet Legend's, and he could have lived without seeing the broken look in the captain's eyes. No, Legend muttered. He felt numb from head to toe. No, he can't be gone. There has to be something we can do. More potions, maybe some magic, something. Time reached out and touched Legend's shoulder. The veteran jerked back. No! He grabbed Hyrule's arm. You listen to me, Ruli. You aren't allowed to die. You can't die. That's not allowed. You... Legend's voice caught and he bent his head, feeling tears begin to well up. I can't lose you too, he whispered to no one. Time's hand returned, but Legend shoved it off. Hyrule, wake up! He pulled the boy up into his arms, shaking him. Hyrule's head rolled around a bit before lying still. Ruli! Ruli! Someone was sobbing, and it felt like the breaking point as something in Legend shattered. Tears streamed down his cheeks, and he clung to Hyrule's body, burying his face in the goo-covered tunic. Time's shaking arms wrapped around Legend's waist, and warriors attempted to pull Hyrule's body from him. Legend kicked and screamed, trying to get free of the old man's grip and to not let go of his little brother. A new face entered Legend's vision, and Legend saw red. You! He hissed. Shadow's face was impassively blank. I had nothing to do with this. If you'd let me stop him! Legend tried to lunge at Shadow, but was held back by Time. Then he'd still be alive! Shadow gave Legend the same blank look. It was infuriating and made Legend's blood boil. He knew he shouldn't have trusted his stupid Shadow, no matter what Force said. Shadow looked down at Hyrule's body, then over to Twilight. Sword. Legend growled. What do you mean? Do you want me to save him or not? Shadow snapped. That shut up Legend quick. Shadow then turned to Twilight. Sword, in Hyrule's hand, now. Twilight looked confused. My sword isn't going... The Master Sword, you idiot! Shadow snapped. You have it! Twilight looked down at the purple and silver sword in his hand. Oh, right. He moved forward and put the sword in Hyrule's hand. Alright then. Shadow cracked his knuckles. Give me a second, and please... He paused, glaring at Legend. Don't stab me. Shadow began to mutter something unintelligible under his breath, and a dark aura covered his hands. He waved them over Hyrule, the dark glow glowing brighter. As he did this, the Master Sword began to flash brightly, making everyone step back. The muttering stopped, and the glow died. Legend didn't hesitate, rushing forward to check on Hyrule. Nothing. He glared up at Shadow. What did you do? Shadow raised an eyebrow. He raised up a hand, then snapped his fingers. Hyrule's eyes flew open, and he gasped for air. Legend almost dropped him out of fright. Hyrule coughed, and warriors helped Legend turn him on his side. Hyrule began to reach up that dark, sinister-looking goo. The only difference was that this goo did not have dark magic radiating off of it. Legend couldn't find his voice, only able to rub Hyrule's back, encouraging the dark substance out of his stomach and lungs. He felt tears of relief still streaming down his cheeks. He found his voice when Hyrule finally could breathe properly. You jerk! Legend pulled Hyrule into a sitting position before clinging to him. Don't you ever do that again! Hyrule didn't say anything, only clung tightly back. Of course, warriors had to interrupt the moment. What happened? Legend glanced over to see Warrior's glare flickering between Shadow and Hyrule. Shadow shrugged. We beat the evil shadows. What else? That thing wasn't a shadow, and you know it, Warrior shot back. Don't think I didn't hear Hyrule's little spell. Well, at least someone had heard it. Legend had been a little busy fending off that evil thing. Hyrule stiffened in Legend's grip, which wasn't a good sign. Legend pulled back to get a proper look. Hyrule, what happened? Nothing, he muttered. Liar. Really? Legend mumbled. I need you to be honest. Hyrule shook his head and buried his face in Legend's shoulder, clinging to him tightly. Shadow, the purple four growled, which was also a thing that they needed to figure out, right? Spit it out. Can't, Shadow shrugged. I promised, and you should know that I keep my promises. The blue four threw an unflattering gesture at the only living shadow left before being dragged into a group hug with all of the fours, apparently led by the red one, who was crying. I missed you guys so much! Red, we talked all the time, you moron! It's not the same! Get off of me! Just let him get it out, Blue. No one asked you, Greenie. Shh! I'm hugging all of you! Red! Well, Legend would follow the four's lead and continue to hug Hyrule because that had been too close. Legend chose to ignore the part of his mind that was drawn back to an old memory of the temple he found in his younger days. A temple where he had found 4 people that looked similar with the same color scheme as these 4 in front of him. A temple where all of them had fused into one. A temple that had 4 people that hadn't looked a lot like him but had worn similar tunic styles and hats. People that looked a bit like an older 4. End of chapter 9.